stage to Aamir Ibrahim, a proud CEO of Jazz, and the Jazz has become the most inclusive company of the year. 2025, I've already explained, this is based on the performance of the 2024. So I stop over here and over to you, Aamir. Thank you so much, and we would like to hear your inspiring story. You may like to share your screen if you wish, and over to you.
Yeah, there's not much to share on the screen, but first of all, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Zaid Saab, thank you very much for sharing the report, and congratulations to everybody, not only those who won, but those who participated, because they believe in the agenda. They believe in the importance of having an inclusive environment where our talent can flourish, and that talent then eventually takes the country forward. So I think a great day for us, especially at Jazz. It's always good to get validation and recognition, but I want to share the story that it's not only for these awards and recognition that we do what we do. And a few years ago, most of you are already familiar with Jazz, previously MobileLink. We've been in this country for 30 years, building towers, selling SIMs, providing connectivity, internet, and in the last few years, many additional services from banking to payments to lending, now insurance, entertainment. So we have evolved. But 3-4 years ago, I think I came at an inflection point in my own journey as a CEO, wondering what our legacy is, and why do we exist? Do we just exist, as many people think, that companies exist to increase the returns for shareholders? Yeah. So the wealth generation is perhaps the only thing that people think about what the job of the management is, and that has changed from that single dimension to stakeholder returns. In the context of our country, I thought that Jazz must have a purpose. And we have been very intentional about creating and articulating our purpose within the organization. And the purpose that I define in the organization is that Jazz exists to help improve the lives and livelihoods of people through technology. And we over-index our commitment to the women in the country. If it were up to me, and without sounding politically incorrect, I would have said that Jazz exists to help improve the lives and livelihoods of women in Pakistan through technology. So that was the purpose. And within the corridors of the organization, this purpose has been completely embraced. Obviously, it gets championed at the top, but a single person can't do everything. You mentioned my colleague Rabia. I'm surrounded by not only her, but a number of people who believe in this mission. But it wasn't just about creating a psychologically safe environment where there is no glass ceiling, or there is pay parity, or there is a safe working environment. It was a little bit more than that, because between the two companies, I also see that my colleagues from MobileLink Bank are also there. It's a shared vision both here and at MobileLink Bank. So, how many lives can we impact? Between these two companies, we have about 5,000 employees. So if all goes well, maybe in a perfect world, we'll have 2,500 females working for us. We realize that for us to make the real impact, we have to go outside of our organizations. And we are blessed with actually working in an environment where our products can be used, are used to magnify the impact that women can bring to the economy, to their lives, starting from SIM ownership or smartphone ownership to having a bank account or having financial freedom. So it was really important that we focused on what is the impact of our products in the society and how can women benefit from it. So I think I saw your triangle where it was, I think, a foundation, and then there was internal and there was an external. I think we have overcome the internal thing to a greater extent. Of course, there are occasional bad practices that we find out and we try to address them. But much more emphasis is put on what we can do for the 50% population of Pakistan. Everything from reducing the entry barriers to smartphone ownership. And that's not always a financial barrier. It is a cultural barrier. Sorry. Hi. Probably a technical glitch. I guess you guys can hear me again.
Yeah.
The scene raised hand if you can hear me. Yeah. Good. So we put, I think once we got the internal thing in order, because we can't be good externally, if we have issues internally. So once we got our issues solved internally, we started focusing on external things, because that's where we can make a much bigger impact. And that's through our products. Like I mentioned, smartphone is the remote control to your life, and making sure that that financial barrier is reduced. But it's not just the financial barrier, it's an emotional barrier, it's a cultural barrier. And what we have is actually our colleagues going into the suburban areas, into rural areas, educating community leaders about the importance of making sure that the women in those communities also benefit from smartphones. They also benefit from opening a bank account. And this can't always be done through advertising and by just fixing the financial issue. It has to be done at multiple layers. So we have a field force of colleagues and partners, including UNDP, which actually help us go down to the grassroots level where we're talking about these things. 3-4 years ago, GSMA, which is the parent organization of all the telecom operators in the world, I made a public commitment. I think we were at 22% of our total customers were women. And I said by 2025, it will be 30%. I made that declaration, and today we are at 30% of our GSM customers, which is the telecom customers, who are women. And we, of course, want to take it to 50% for many cultural reasons. Actually, women don't really use the phone in their own CNICs, but we're changing that. Likewise, I made a commitment by the end of the decade, 2030, 50% of our banking customers will be women. Today, that number is again 30%. And we are far ahead in terms of making sure that our products, from bank account opening to giving loans, women actually are over-indexed in our orientation. We recently won a huge, big award on women inheritance done by the Mobilink Microfinance Bank. So that, along with Jazz, helped build this brand called Jazz Cash, which lends out more than 120,000 loans per day. And proud to say that 30% of those loans are actually used by women. And they could be real business cases, like somebody is running a beauty parlor, but they don't have the working capital. And previously, they would not be able to go to a traditional bank to get that loan of 20, 30,000 rupees. But now, from the ease of their phone and within the safety of their own house, they can click on a button, and within 30 seconds, they can get a loan of up to 30,000 rupees. So this is how we are empowering entrepreneurs. We have a program called Women Inspiration Network on the bank side, where we're actually educating women on how to become entrepreneurs. So I've taken a little bit more time. I didn't really want to talk too much about what we're doing, but at the same time, I did feel that perhaps by sharing these stories, we learn from one another. It's been a great privilege to be recognized over here. I thank my colleagues who have worked tirelessly to execute the programs and translate this vision into a reality. And as I said earlier in my intro, that while it is great that we get recognized and there is validation from these awards, we genuinely believe in what we do. And this is part of our DNA. And this is the reason why we exist, to help improve the lives and livelihoods of people through technology, especially women and children. I'll
Thank
take
you
a pause
so
now.
Thanks a lot. Wonderfully good. And I think entire organization deserves appreciation. I'm sure